Saturday in the park. Saturday. Man, day 15 started this joint 2 weeks ago. The pilgrimage. Still got a ways to go, but enjoying this. It's Saturday. This is day. This is day, as I just told y'all, what is this? Day, what, 15 of 100, man. This is crazy. Day 15 of 100. Welcome to CNN. I'm your host, Kirk Kennedy. Let's go in. All right, this one's a little bit different. This isn't talking about the culture. I want to ask a real question. This is a real question, right? It's a question that Jesus asked. And I think it's a good question for all of us to ask ourselves, particularly every, Saturday night or Sunday, right? It's a good question to ask ourselves every Saturday night or Sunday. And the question, I'm going to read the passage where the question comes from, and it's simply this. Here's what Jesus says, right? This is a scene. You'll know the scene. If you're of the Christian tradition like I am, then you'll recognize this scene. All right, John 18. It says, when Jesus had spoken these words, he went out with his disciples across the brook Kidron, where there was a garden, which he and his disciples entered. Now, Judas, who betrayed him, also knew the place, for Jesus often met there with his disciples. So Judas, having procured a band of soldiers and some officers from the chief priests and Pharisees, went there with lanterns and torches and weapons, right? Then Jesus, knowing all that would happen to him, came forward and said to them, whom do you seek? They answered him, Jesus of Nazareth. Jesus said to them, I am he. Now, if you continue on in the story, again, Jesus asked the question, whom do you seek? These dudes fall back. This is they fell down. That was pretty crazy that they fall down, right? But the question that Jesus asked here is one that I think all believers should ask every Sunday. Like, all right, we go to church. It's routine. You go to church. You probably are going to the same church you've gone to for years, a long time. You know the liturgy, right? You're going to come in. They're going to maybe some greeters there. Hey, how you doing? Hey, all that, right? Sister girl moments or whatever, right? And then the music's going to start. And then there's some worship songs. There'll probably be some announcements, maybe a dismissal of the children's ministry. And then the preacher gives the word. Maybe a closing song, communion, maybe an altar call, something of the sort, right? It's pretty typical of what you experience week in and week out. But this question that Jesus asks here is, I think, a question that we should all ask ourselves because we're prone to not answer this question accurately. Jesus said, whom do you seek? Right? The soldiers were coming there. They knew who they were looking for. They were looking for Jesus. So let me ask you this question in the modern day situation. When you're going to church, whom do you seek? Whom do you seek? Now, I know that the Sunday school answer, but I'm asking you really to consider, why are you going to church tomorrow if you're going? Why do you go to church? Whom do you seek? Is it, let me go see my friends? I know for many people, church is a social gathering. You're there. It's a formality for many people, and then afterwards they hang out with their friends and go to church, go out to lunch or whatever. You want to catch up, but whom do you seek when you go to church? Do you seek approval? Maybe you want people to see you serving in a particular way, or maybe the way you look. Maybe you got your hair cut, or you got your eyebrows waxed, or you got your nails done. You got a new outfit, and you want people to like how you look and how you are. Whom do you seek? Maybe you're the preacher and you want people to love your message. You put a lot of time and energy into it. You got a couple of crazy illustrations and you're ready to do it. Whom do you seek? You see, in John chapter 18, worldly, ungodly people were seeking Jesus. So you know what that means? That those of us who are taken out of the world and trying to be godly, we should be seeking Jesus all the more. We shouldn't let the people who are seeking Jesus to kill him be looking for him more than the people who have been saved by him. See, this question, whom do you seek, is a good question. When you go to church, are you prepared? Do you honestly believe? Are you seeking an encounter with the Lord? Do you expect to be met in worship and singing your heart out? Do you expect, if no one else is singing hard, will you be? Whom do you seek? Are you expecting God to speak through his word through your pastor or teacher and explain some things, or in Sunday school? Whom do you seek? Whom are you seeking when you go to church? This is a question. And the reason why I'm asking this, because I've been a Christian for a while now, and I've been a pastor for a while. I preach week in and week out. And I've seen it happen. Many people are not seeking Jesus when they go to church. It's a formality. They're seeking everything else. And if you get some Jesus, wow, that song really affected me. Whoa, that was a good word today. But are you seeking Jesus? If no one is singing with their hands lifted up, if you do that in your church, will you? If no one seems to be taking notes or really dialed into the message, will you? You know, as a preacher, sometimes, and I don't always, this doesn't always mean this is what the person is doing, but sometimes as a preacher, you watch people turn around and look at the clock on the wall, almost to give the impression like, man, how much longer is this guy going to preach until service is over? And then I can go talk to my friends that I haven't talked to in a couple days. You know, there are people who hang out together all the time and see each other all the time, all the time. And as soon as church is over, they talk to them before church, talk to them after church, and sometimes talking while in church, while the preacher's preaching. Whom do you seek? Every single one of us of the Christian tradition should at the very least go to church every Sunday seeking Jesus. Seeking Jesus. Whether we hear from him directly in his word, maybe he says something to us, whether we see him among his people in fellowship. Do you go to church looking to say hello to the person who's sitting alone that no one's talking to? Do you know how many people go to church and like the preaching and like stuff, but people don't talk to them that much, so they don't go back to that church? No matter how great the preacher is, if the people around them, they don't have fellowship and friendship with people that are there, they're not going to stay at that church. They're going to leave. I've had people be like, man, I love the way you preach. I'm encouraged by that. But then they'll be like, yeah, but no one talked to them. No one talked to them. Whom do you seek? I love the fact that Jesus would look around and scan the room and notice the woman who put 2 bits into the thing, that Jesus would talk to the people who people weren't talking to. Whom do you seek on Sunday? Don't let some non-Christian people who killed our Lord seek him more diligently than people who are apparently grateful that he was killed on our behalf, right? Whom do you seek? When you go to church tomorrow, seek Jesus and ask the Lord, Lord, help me see you. Help me seek you. Help me be focused on whatever, help me. Don't evaluate your church service. I don't like this song, man. They were off today. Don't evaluate your church service. Seek Jesus in the midst of it. So if the singing, if it's not your favorite songs, or it's not, the sermon didn't, seek Jesus and seek to be like Jesus in your service. And I think you'll enjoy yourself, right? But what do I know? This is selfish ambition because I'm a preacher and all of that. But I want people to seek Jesus beyond me. I pray this often before I preached often. I'll say this, something like this. Lord, let them hear a better sermon that I'm able to teach. And I always pray, if anything I say is not true of you, then please take it from their memory. But if anything I say is true, then may their hearts burn with passion for that truth. So this is not a trick question. It's not a trick question. Whom do you seek? You know if it's Jesus or not. And if it's not, ask him to make it so it is, so that when you go to church, even if the service is not what you wanted, even if people don't notice your new haircut or that your new outfit, you're seeking Jesus, right? All right. Enjoy church tomorrow. I will preaching a little. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna talk a little bit about what I tell my church tomorrow when I see y'all tomorrow for day 16 of 100. Thanks for riding. We appreciate y'all. Listen, before Abraham was, subscribe, man. Stop playing. Hit that like button. I'm on it. We getting it in right now. Appreciate y'all, and we'll see you tomorrow. Gotta go pick up food for my kids, man.